Hello, hello, and welcome to the first video in a series that we're calling Q&A. It's a very imaginatively named series. We put out a call for questions in our last video, and we have had many. So thank you, lovely people. You have delivered with some excellent questions, some funny ones, some difficult ones actually, some really diverse mix of things. And today we're going to be answering one of the first that we got. In fact, we're going to answer more than just one. There's maybe 2 or 3 that were related to this topic of how can we do this, what we're doing as UK citizens. How are we able to come here to Portugal, buy a house with some land and do this project? And there were a few related things about residency and citizenship and stuff like that. So let's ask the woman who knows about these things, because admin and logistics and that kind of stuff is not really my area of expertise. In fact, if anyone knows what my area of expertise is, do let me know, because I'm drawing a blank. Let's ask Kylie. Hello.
Hey.
Are you going to angle grind some flowers?
No, not today.
Although the angle grinder was involved in this flower bed.
Yes, we'll get to that. So the first question was, how are we able to just come and buy land and live here? Now, our particular case is very different to the case now, because pre-Brexit, we moved here, and pre-Brexit, the UK was in the EU, and the EU has the right to reside in any of the member states. So we just arrived here, filled out some paperwork, paid a small fee, and have what's called a temporary residency permit that lasts for 5 years. So that allows us to stay here, work here, all of that for 5 years, as long as we stay here. If we go away for a year and come back, I think we would have to reapply. We'd have to check that. So that's the case. We had a backup plan in case we couldn't get here pre-Brexit, and that would have been to apply for a D7 visa, and that's the visa that most people get now, and that has an income requirement on it of like kind of equivalent to the minimum Portuguese, but basically it's just to show that you're not going to come here and live off a state, but rather you're going to come here and contribute to society. So typically any retiree would probably qualify for that. Otherwise you need to have some kind of an income source, and savings is not sufficient. You have to have a income stream of some description. So that's that.
We had a question from Andrea. As you are both British citizens and now living in Portugal and having bought land, is it a requirement to have dual citizenship to both countries or not?
So the citizenship one is interesting. I'm actually both Australian and British. And so my route to becoming British is the same as my route to becoming Portuguese, which is I moved to the UK, I did the qualification number of years, I did the test, and then I got a British passport. And thankfully both Australia and Britain don't require us to give up our citizenship. Portugal allows dual citizenship. So I'll actually, if we decide to go for Portugal citizenship, I'll actually end up with 3 citizenships, and all the 3 countries allow that. It's fine. Although it says dual citizenship, it actually means any number of citizenships. We can apply for citizenship after 6 years of living here. So after 5 on our temporary residency permit, we can then apply for a permanent residency card, which is kind of like indefinite leave to remain in the UK. And then after 1 year on that, we can apply for Portuguese citizenship. There is a language test, and I think the only other requirement is that you don't have a criminal conviction. So as long as we keep safe for the next few years, we'll be fine. I don't know if we plan on getting Portuguese citizenship. The thing that Portuguese citizenship gives us, which we currently don't have, is the EU benefits, which means being able to work and live or retire in any other EU state without having to get a visa like the D7.
Does it give you voting rights as well?
It does give you voting rights. So we are planning for this to be our long-term home, so it makes sense for us, because then we can do whatever we want and we're not restricted to any other residency rules. So at the moment on the residency permit we're still exposed to the 90-day Shenang rule. So if we were to go somewhere else in the EU, we would still be exposed to that 90-day maximum. Obviously with citizenship, that's not a problem. So that's the citizenship thing. I can be tried citizenship and Guy can be dual citizenship.
We've slightly covered this already, but Chizzy Bannett asked many things, or said many things, but specifically asked, being a British citizen, what was your experience gaining residency in Portugal? They didn't think we were here before Brexit, but we were.
And so for us it was pretty simple, as it would be if you were a EU, other EU country resident. You come here, you go to your local council office.
Town hall,
Okay,
maybe?
yeah, town hall could be it. So you go there and you get an attestado, which is a statement that confirms that you live in the country, either because you show a rental contract or you show your land deeds. Ours was very relaxed. They said, are you planning to live here? We said, yes, we just bought a house. They said, do you still have a house in London? We said, no. They went, brilliant. Asked us for the address, filled it out, and then normally you take that to your local camera. So that is the council office, with some bits and pieces of paperwork and €15, and a couple of days later you go back and pick up a piece of paper that says you are now resident here. The D7 visa, or a D4 if you're married to a Portuguese national. So those are the two routes that are most common. I think are a little bit more involved. The D7 you have to apply for out of country, so you can't come here and then apply for it. VFS is, I think, their visa partner of choice, and I know that there's a VFS in Manchester and in London, but that is equally fairly simple in terms of the criteria, just not that the waiting is and also there's a requirement there now that you must have a 1-year rental contract before you get the visa, which kind of is...
Or buy a house.
Or buy a house, and there's another one. Oh, you have to have a bank account before you get it. So it's a little bit more tricky, but you just go through the process like everything, and then there's many people who get D7 visas very successfully. So yeah, very simple for us because we're pre-Brexit, but it's not that much more difficult now.
So there you go. Hopefully that helps answer the questions that you had. We are going to be doing more of these question videos, hopefully every Monday. And something else that we're going to try and include in those is some of the small things that we're doing that don't really fit into the other videos, which tend to be more project-based. And we're actually standing right next to something that Kylie did a few weeks ago, which we thought we would show you.
This is one of my favorite tools. And recently I bought a new disc for it, and it's for cutting ceramic tiles and stone and stuff. And I tested it out on some of the old tiles that we have from that building over there. As you can see, or maybe you can't see, there's a roof falling down in there, and there's loads of tiles on the floor. And I wanted to see if they made a really good edging for flower beds. So, this is my flower bed. I bought these pre-bought, and I planted some sunflowers, and the chickens have very nicely scratched up all the wood chip that I put along the edge.
But there's no weeds.
There's no weeds, and that's what I put the wood chip for. Thankfully, they don't really scratch in the actual garden bed. So this was, how many?
10 tiles per metre.
10 tiles per metre. So 10, they were like this. Some were already cracked and damaged. I just used the cracked and damaged ones, and I was able to get 2 or 3 of these uprights. Bear with me.
I think she's gone off to get a tile to show you, but I've no idea. She literally just walked off in the middle of us making a video. So your guess is as good as mine, but I think my guess is pretty good. I'm really just filling in time until she gets back. I don't even know if this will make the video, but we'll see.
So this, I think this is one of the ones I rejected because it didn't go into the ground very well. But that's kind of how tall they are. 150 mil, I think I was aiming for. And then half of it's kind of in the ground, and then the other half acts as the edging. And we have loads of different shapes and sizes of these, but when you put them into configuration, they look just fine.
Yeah, it looks really cool. And it's a nice way to reuse something that is, just cluttering up the floor in one of the outbuildings.
And I would definitely advise, if you're going to use an angle grinder, to get one of these ceramic diamond blade, whatever they're called. They just cut through it like butter. I mean, this is just terracotta, but super, super easy to cut these up. And yeah, very dusty, very dusty.
Yeah, get a diamond-tipped ceramic disc and a dust mask. And some ear defenders.
Yes, it was a small Sunday morning project. Anyway, so that's that.
That's that. Very good. Right.
I gotta get to work.
So there you go. Keep your questions coming in if you would like us to answer them, and we will do our very best to do that. We've had loads of great ones so far, and many more to come, I'm sure. The plan is to try and answer these every Monday and show you a little bit of the other bits and pieces that we're doing around the place. So that's it for now. We'll see you next time. Bye bye.